Hi there, Kieu. Let's take a look at this newest set of essays. This is about online communication. Let's see what you wrote. Experts throughout both developing and developed countries have debated whether the reality of online communication dominating face-to-face interaction brings more harm than good in the work environment rather than working environment. You do need an article here, and I probably would have chosen work over working. Personally, I believe that even though online communication deters healthy workplace relationships from growing, you deter somebody from doing something, okay? It actually offers more benefits to businesses, okay? This essay will elaborate my viewpoints using examples from Oxford University and the UN to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Remember that university is part of the title, and so you have to capitalize that U. Let me see one thing here about the way the question is formed. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Okay, fine. So what did you tell us? You said that it's bad for relationships, but it's more beneficial for businesses. Fine. There is ample evidence that supports the idea that online meetings, S here, have robbed people of real and meaningful relationships at their workplaces. The central reason behind this is because staff now have the luxury of staying home and working, ing. Luxury of two things, staying, working, okay? Therefore, instead of going in to work, that should have been one word, into, and building a friend circle by sharing life experiences, their communication is tied to merely work-related content, and content should be singular. This gradually makes people feel less desire to engage in face-to-face conversation when given a chance, and eventually disrupts meaningful friendships to blossom. All right, again, here, you disrupt something from happening. Okay, so, but I still don't really love this. I don't really know. You disrupt. Let's think about this. I'm not even sure disrupt is the right word, but let's see if we have the right form here. So eventually, let's see. This gradually, let me see. This eventually disrupts. No, this eventually disrupts meaningful friendships from forming. I still don't like the word disrupts though. Grammatically, it makes sense, but it's not the right word. You maybe wanted to say this inhibits meaningful relationships from forming. This prevents meaningful relationships from forming. But I think you definitely needed from and then an ing here. Again, I'm not really a big fan of the word disrupts. I don't think it's the right word here. An empirical survey carried out by the UN revealed that 8 out of 10 people were reported to feel isolated because of a lack of trusting relationships at work since the advent of remote jobs. Consequently, it is possible to state that online communication has some negative effects on making good rapport between coworkers. Fine. Even though there is a case for online interaction negatively affecting, careful with your grammar here, there was a case for something ing, okay? Something happening, something occurring, something existing. The quality of relationships that were, even though there is a case for online interaction negatively affecting the quality of relationships at workplaces, it has underpinned some positive operational shifts in various organizations. Good. This is due to the fact that people now can communicate with distant working partners at a flick of a switch, which is impossible to do in person without traveling hundreds of miles. They can exchange information quickly using the internet, such as email, calling, or meeting online. Great! Through various apps and websites. Recent studies by Oxford University show that ever since the introduction of online meetings, the number of overseas business travel in the UK, careful here, the number of overseas business trips in the UK has decreased 50%, while the proportion of abroad work some companies, While the proportion of abroad work some companies have taken has risen 15%. I don't really love this sentence. There's some awkwardness here. What does that mean, abroad work? It's not an expression that's particularly clear. And then you've got that grammatical problem here as well. Therefore, it is evident to conclude that the internet has paved the way for many good changes in the ways some businesses operate. Okay, nice. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although online interaction causes some negative effects, it also provides a multitude of advantages for businesses to grow. It is predicted that online communication will be even more popular at workplaces in the future. Okay, so there's some really good stuff happening in this essay in terms of your structure. You've totally understood, you've totally mastered how to structure your essay in a way that is both cohesive and coherent, and it shows appropriate development. So I'm really happy with all of that. There were some areas where the grammar and the vocabulary needed a little work. So those for me were the weak spots in this essay. But as far as how you developed it and the way your ideas linked to each other, I thought you did a great job with that. So nicely done. Work on some of those little grammar and vocabulary things, okay? Let's take a look at the school subjects task 1. The pie chart reflects the differences in the popularity of 7 school subjects in Germany in the year 2017. Overall, it is evident to say that the most popular subjects were history and PE, while other science subjects such as physics, mathematics, biology, and geography were, because look, subjects were less favored by German students. IT held the smallest proportion of here, all 7 subjects. In 2017, history and PE accounted for over 22% each, making them the most common subjects in German schools. Careful, it's not common, it's popular. All right, it's okay to use that word, but common is not appropriate here. It means something totally different. Meanwhile, IT was the least favorite one at only 3.7, 7 times smaller than the most popular ones. Great. I love that you made this connection. I think that was a smart way to organize it. Start at the top and then show this contrast. I think that was a really good thing to do. And I love that you emphasized just how big this difference is. So that was really, 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 really well executed. Out of the 4 remaining science subjects, physics and maths were enjoyed by more. Try that again. Physics and maths were enjoyed more by German pupils since their proportion in the pie chart were careful, what's going on with your grammar? Their proportion, that's a singular, in the pie chart was, 3 times greater than that of their counterparts, biology and geography. They consisted of 18.1 and 19.5% respectively, whereas biology contributed 7.1 and geography only accounted for 6.5. So you did something really interesting here. I like that you did this. This is definitely the first time I've seen this pie chart approach this way, and I absolutely commend your creativity. I didn't love this. This is kind of where it lost some of the effect for me. They consisted of. You just mentioned 4 subjects. Look at this. You talked about physics and maths, and then you talked about biology and geography. So it's totally unclear to your reader what this they refer to. Now, obviously, if you use a little logic, you can figure out that you're referring to physics and maths. But still, it does create some confusion. So you still have to ask yourself, wait a minute, what? So you don't want the examiner to do that. In other words, you don't want the examiner to have to think additionally that more than they have to, and you don't want them to have to reread something. So, because there is a potential that if they do have to reread it, maybe there's something confusing in it, and that's why they need clarity. But I like what you tried to do. So there were just little changes here that I think would have made this more effective. You know what I want to do? I want to read it one more time, and then maybe we can come up with a way that would have made this flow a little better and made it feel a little more logical. Out of the 4 remaining subjects, physics and maths were enjoyed more by German pupils since their proportion in the pie chart was 3 times greater than that of their counterparts, biology and geography. And then I would say this, specifically, physics had 18.1% of the popularity, and maths was at 19.5%, whereas biology contributed 7.1 and geography only accounted for 6.5%. So it's a little change, but it just makes it so much clearer to me. Although I think this is interesting. I think it's an interesting way to do it. Is it the only way to do it? No, definitely not. There are many other ways as well. But I thought that was an interesting approach. And I like what you did, especially in that first detailed paragraph where you talked about the contrast between the lowest and the top. So I'm definitely seeing some really, really great things. And the thing that's really exciting to me is that I see that you're applying so much of what we're talking about in both the course and also in these video corrections. So that's really great. Keep up the good work. Keep at it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to help. So great, and keep going. Okay, good luck.